Doug Yule. Not the name of some bizarre Christmas character, but the name of the man who many credit with the downfall of the legendary rock band, the Velvet Underground. The musician was brought on for the group's third studio album as a sort of replacement for John Cale, who had split with the band on less than good terms. Yule is blamed for giving the band a less energetic and more mainstream sound, and also for releasing a Velvet Underground album with no actual members of the Velvet Underground on it besides himself. Before Yule officially tanked the band with Squeeze, the musician played a large role in what is considered the band's actual final album, 1971's Loaded, which was named for Atlantic Records' desire for the album to be, quote, loaded with hits. Quote, on Loaded, there was a big push to produce a hit single. There was the mentality, which one of these is a single? How does it sound when we cut it down to 3.5 minutes? So that was a major topic for the group at that point, said Yule. The pressure to produce commercial music was just one of many factors that caused the collapse of the Velvet Underground. Original drummer Maureen Tucker was absent from the recordings due to her being pregnant at the time, and who should replace her but Doug Yule and his brother, Billy Yule. In fact, Yule is credited with bass guitar, piano, organ, lead guitar, acoustic guitar, drums, backing vocals, and even lead vocals on a few tracks of the album. Quote, Lou leaned on me a lot in terms of musical support and vocal arrangements. I did a lot on Loaded. It sort of devolved down to the Lou and Doug recreational recording, said Yule. Although Yule calls it a joint effort between himself and frontman Lou Reed, it becomes clear at some point that Reed was being shut out. Reed's dissatisfaction with the final mix of the album is well documented, particularly with the track Sweet Jane, and the songwriter left the band before the album was even released. No Reed, no Tucker, and even founding member and guitarist Sterling Morrison dropped out that same year. But the album was a huge success. Quote, Loaded didn't have Maureen on it, and that's a lot of people's favorite Velvet Underground record. So we can't get too lost in the mystique of the Velvet Underground. It's still called a Velvet Underground record, but what it really is something else, said Reed. Loaded truly is something else, a version of the Velvet Underground that's so easy to consume that the band got swallowed up with it. If Loaded is the most popular Velvet Underground work, then to paraphrase the title of today's song, who loves the Velvet Underground? That's right, we're talking Who Loves the Sun by the Velvet Underground on Cover Me, Summer of Sun.
Who loves the sun? Who cares that it makes plants grow? Who cares what it does since you broke my heart?
That's right, it's Cover Me, Summer of Sun, the only podcast that compares famous songs loosely related to the sun to their many cover versions to find out which one makes plants grow. I'm your host, as always, the Snake, joined by my shining co-host,
Alex Mildenberger.
Alex!
I even consider myself Sterling.
Sterling. Sterling itself is an adjective and also sometimes a name.
Yeah. How about that?
What a strange thing. I only know of two Sterlings. One of them plays guitar in the Velvet Underground. The other is a fictional spy parody character.
Fictional spy here. Yeah. What's his middle name, too? Not that, it's still a name for him, though. But
it certainly is. Yeah. It's a good name as like a musician. It stands out. Sterling Morrison.
Yeah. It's like enough of a name, but also different enough to be believable. It's not like something completely out there.
Yeah,
it does. Like, I don't know, Grimes. Is the only example I can think of. Maybe that is a real name, but it doesn't sound like one to me.
It certainly does not, or whatever Grimes' kid is named.
Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce
that. Or was attempted to be named, or it was like a bunch of fucking symbols and shit.
Yeah.
It's because Sterling more, like, it's just old-fashioned, so it just seems more anacronistic than outlandish, like spaceman names.
And I mean, if you look at photos of the Velvet Underground, they're like black and white a lot of the time, which I'm pretty sure was not necessary considering this was like
late 60s,
to late
early
70s. And it's like they had color photography then. Like,
yeah, they colored fucking footage. We saw the Beatles play their last concert in color. Like,
anyway, fun stuff.
It is fun stuff, but yeah. So we're talking Velvet Underground again.
We are. We've talked about them several times on one of our first ever episodes that was never released, which we redid for Sweet Jane.
That's right.
Which was also on this album. We talked about this album multiple times.
We've talked about this album before, yeah, and that's where I struggled with the introduction this week, because I was like, surely there's a lot on every song on this album. Nope. It's like, people talk about Sweet Jane, people talk about the album as a whole. Everything else is just kind of on the album.
Yeah, the only other like specific quote was like part of a Doug Yule quote where he says like, yeah, Who Loves the Sun was done exactly that way for that reason, to be a hit.
Right.
and like that's it. And then there's some other stuff generally about like how he said he wishes that Lou Reed had been singing on all the songs on the album, but like this is a Doug Yule song in terms of because he's singing lead on it.
He is singing on it, yeah, and it is a little confusing in terms of credits because that was another big issue.
You've switched microphones, I think, and switched back. Damn.
Okay, yeah, Doug Yule. Is that what we're talking about? You were talking about...
You're talking about credits.
We're talking about credits. Yeah, the credits on the album are... sorry, for anyone listening, I just got disconnected because I moved my leg. I have a very high-tech studio. The credits on this were a bit of a dispute issue. Another reason Reed left is everything was credited to the band. It was just like, a whole thing by the Velvet Underground.
Right.
When a lot of the songwriting is done by Lou Reed, like Yule said, he did a lot of vocal arrangements and stuff. So it's credits, man. That's what destroys every band is credits.
Yeah, especially it sounds like Lou Reed really wanted to like take the credit. And there's another quote from Sterling Morrison, who said, I didn't write this one down, but he made a comment like, we call their production company like 3 guys writing songs or whatever.
Right.
Because it was 3 guys writing songs, but a lot of the credit ends up going to Lou Reed because he writes the lyrics. And that's great. But like, I think nowadays, well, maybe even back then, but like, there's so many more parts of a song. It sounds like Lou Reed was like, I wrote the lyrics. It's mine.
It's mine. Yeah. Well, yeah, you look at what he did on this album. It's like rhythm, guitar, and vocals. And it's like, that's not, and some piano. It's like, that's not a lot.
Yeah.
In terms of, songwriting, which is a 2-part process, the instrumentals and the lyrics. But then he does do all the lyrics, so that is a large part of it. Yeah, I think our conception of songwriting sometimes is just not advanced enough.
Yeah, they said, like, we kept him happy, and he got all the rights for the songs, basically.
Yeah, and
Three Prong was the name of the publishing company.
3 Prong!
Because it was Sterling Morrison, Lou Reed, and John Cale.
Right. And they boot John Cale. And then, it's a very, like, and this is what I kind of was questioning this week, is like, what is the Velvet Underground? Is it just the Lou Reed project? Is it the combination of Lou Reed and John Cale? Or, like, how much credit do I give to Dougie? Because I like this album.
Yeah, I do too. And, like, I agree. That's a good question. What is the Velvet Underground? Like you said, who loves the Velvet Underground? But, like, this is very different from the Velvet Underground and Nico. And, like, Nico's not here either. So,
yeah.
Like, it's a lot of changes. And as much as I like what was created, it's different.
It's different. It's very different. It's like, really the only thread is the Lou Reed, like, lyric writing style.
And I mean, I still think there's some Sterling Morrison guitar. I think maybe it's just I like the parts, the components, and then you just arrange them in different ways, and they're still good, but they're very different.
Yeah.
I don't know White Light, White Heat, like, at all.
Oh, you should know it. It's very good. Great album. I know everything. I tried to listen to Squeeze this week. I didn't even get through the first track. It's just so clearly not the Velvet Underground. But Doug Yule, I don't even think he's the worst guy. I don't love him, but I think he does some good vocal work. I like the songs on this. It's just a weird history of a weird band. Yeah,
it never really registered to me that it was that guy singing. I wasn't really sure, you know?
Yeah, because Lou can do a softer, vocal.
Yeah,
like,
so I kind of thought maybe he was pushing to do that. Because the whole album is kind of a push, or feels like a push to be more commercial, as they said it is. So I was like, oh, maybe he was just trying something different, and he was younger, so like it came off okay, versus like later Lou Reed, which is more like idiosyncratic.
Right.
And you get, like in like Goodnight Ladies or whatever, doesn't sound like this, obviously. And this is not him, but theoretically.
In theory,
Sweet Jane, right? Like he did sing that.
He sings that, and it's a very like poppy piece.
Yeah.
And that is kind of the other thing I heard about this one is it's almost like them taking on the styles of other bands for each track. They're like, okay, what if the Velvet Underground did, the Beach Boys or did the Beatles
right.
or whatever? And you get that kind of result. And it's like, it's very weird. It's just like, how much do you need to dilute the Velvet Underground to get the masses to eat them?
Yeah, and this didn't really work out that well, it sounds like.
It's almost like it worked too well because it just like it destroyed whatever
Destroyed
the
the
Velvet
band.
Underground was.
Yeah, true. And it was already falling apart. And like Maureen Tucker was like was it maternity leave?
Yeah, maternity, she was pregnant.
Yeah. So like she was away anyway. So it was, like you said, it was mostly sounds like Lou Reed and
Doug Yule.
And it sounds like Doug Yule was like a good sport for the most part. Like as much as he's just like some other guy, he's still, a professional musician.
Exactly, and it does kind of feel like he was left holding the bag for that 5th album, where like his manager was like, "Hey, just keep it fucking going." He's like, "Oh, don't get your shit."
Yeah, because my initial reaction to that would definitely be like, "Oh, he kept the name going. What? Just him and like some studio musicians? Like, why would you do that?" But yeah, if there's a manager pushing you to do it, then that makes more sense, and you're just kind of like, "Fuck it."
Yeah, but also have the good sense to be like, "This isn't the band anymore."
Oh, absolutely, because it's not.
It's not. But yeah, great poppy tracks. I've always liked. There's some reviewer said that like, Who Loves the Sun to Sweet Jane to Rock and Roll is one of the best like 3-track starts on any rock album.
Yeah.
And yeah, I agree. Like, Who Loves the Sun's a great intro. Sweet Jane is an all-timer Velvet Underground for me, the complete version.
Yeah.
And Rock and Roll is perhaps the most poppy and like straightforward rock and roll, called rock and roll.
Right. Literally about listening to the radio.
Yeah. And so yeah, great, but also does have that vibe of like, this isn't the band that was singing about heroin. This isn't the band talking about just like the weird, blissful, quiet regret of a Sunday morning. Like,
yeah, I mean, compare this to like Black Angel's Death Song, and like it's not.
Yeah,
there.
nothing even comes close to that on here.
Yeah.
But still pretty good stuff. But we're talking about Who Loves the Sun. You like Who Loves the Sun, Alex?
I do like this song. I like this album. I mean, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, you got into Velvet Underground like more before I did, and I think you lent me this album, or you gave me this album, or something.
You have this album somehow.
Yeah. But anyway, you told me Sweet Jane, obviously, great, and A Lonesome Cowboy Bill. I remember you talking about that a lot back in the day. But yeah, Who Loves the Sun? Hang on, I am hearing some construction.
Yeah, I'm hearing a bit of that construction there too.
Block that out.
I don't know why the fuck I was talking about Lonesome Cowboy Bill so much.
I don't know. I feel like you mentioned it a lot. I think you just like to sing along.
It's a pretty catchy song.
It's another Doug Yule vocal.
It is.
But yes, Who Loves the Sun? It's just more. I mean, sunny, and it feels a little more cheerful than a lot of other Velvet Underground stuff. But
despite being an openly really depressed song, yeah.
Yeah. But it's kind of a good introduction to like the more soft nature of this album.
Yeah, and there's something about it. You'll go on Reddit and they're like, "Ew, are they making fun of the Beatles' Here Comes the Sun?" And it's like, no, I don't think so, but it does feel like they're at least playing around with ideas that are in like the popular consciousness of music. Like, this feels like it could have been a song written, at least lyrically, in like the fucking 50s.
It is pretty simple, right?
It's like the one we did about the world being over since you stopped loving me. What the fuck is the name of that one? Don't they know it's the end of the world? Is it just called The End of the World?
I think so.
Yeah, so it has it's essentially, in some ways, the same song.
It ended when I love. Yeah, similar idea. I mean, you want to jump into these lyrics, and we'll talk about them a little more specifically.
Specifically, who loves the sun? Who cares that it makes plants grow? Who cares what it does since you broke my heart? Who loves the wind? Who cares that it makes breezes? Who cares what it does since you broke my heart?
Yeah, this is like pretty short segments, right? And then you get into the who cares what it does since you broke my heart sort of repeated refrain, I guess. Not really, but like they say it multiple times. And it even starts with it's not just who loves the sun, it's who loves the wind as well. Mm-hmm. So it's just he's talking about like natural forces that are like good and theoretically like violent, but not in this context.
No, yeah, he's really focused on the pleasant side of them. He's like, who cares about a breeze? Who cares about life growing? He really hammers on plants and flowers in this. He's like, fuck those.
Yeah, things
Shit
that are
about
like
those.
joyful, like bring people happiness, you know?
Yeah.
And joy.
He's like, who cares about joy since you've left?
Yeah, none of these things matter anymore.
A little bit of painted black in here as well. That idea, just like, well, fuck all this shit.
Because,
I'm done.
Because the relationship ended or whatever.
Yeah, because the relationship ended, whether by choice or by death. And here I think it's by somebody's choice.
Yeah, it does seem to be that way. Because there's a broken heart.
Yeah.
It's a broken heart song. It is, yeah, definitely. It's a much more simple, like straightforward heartbreak song than you might expect. Or more, and not so much that, I guess, as the topic itself. You know?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we have a two-parter episode on all of the Velvet Underground and Nico,
Right.
talking about that, and there's some like odd or maybe uncommon topics covered in that, right?
Things that like reference Lou Reed's relationship with like a literature professor, to like the complex nature of heroin, to
like alternative sexual whatever.
Yeah, just general like sexual, like quote unquote deviancy.
Right. Non-standard stuff, and like talks about that kind of thing, and that's maybe unusual topics, especially for like pop music, whereas this is a lot more straightforward.
Yeah, and that's 1967. Here we are 4 years later with what could have come out in 1967 and been much more like easily accepted back then.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, like there's really not a lot else to break down there. Who likes this good part of nature? Who cares that it does good things? I am heartbroken. The world is over. I am sad.
Yeah.
Shocking to find out that it's not ba in the chorus, but
I dispute that.
You dispute that? I dispute it as well.
Like, it doesn't matter, but like, I dispute it anyway.
Fair enough. So it's ba 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 who loves the sun, ba 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 who loves the sun, ba 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 who loves the sun. Not everyone, ba 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 who loves the sun.
Yeah, not everyone, because he does not love the sun. Because
hashtag not all men.
Not all men, yeah. Does not love the sun because he's feeling sad and the sun is sunny, and he just wants to block out the sun again, like Paint It Black.
Like Paint It Black. He's like, I don't care about the sun. I don't like that shit.
Yeah, keep it away from me.
Keep it away.
Anything positive. Don't want to see positive things. So I mean, I guess it's part of that. Like, you don't want to see positive things if you're feeling really sad because it just makes you feel worse.
Yeah, and then he even is so like. Kind of counters that in verse 2 where he's like, well, fuck rain too.
Oh yeah, I guess that's the opposite. You know, your sun and rain, right?
Yeah,
you go into the rain.
Yeah, who loves the rain? Who cares that it makes flowers? Who cares that it makes showers since you broke my heart? Who loves the sun? Who cares that it's shining? Who cares what it does since you broke my heart?
I like that he throws in the who cares that it makes showers, because like all the other ones say who cares what it does, and that's just like, we'll do a quick rhyme, why don't we? Because the other ones don't, right? Like sun grow does heart, wind breezes does, like. And then they're like, let's do a rhyming couplet real quick.
Yeah, like change it up a bit. We gotta find some way to break out at just the standard pop format here.
Which is kind of, I don't know, it's kind of like you don't see that specific move very often, where it's like, let's just for no real reason. Like, we're not rhyming. Well, let's do a rhyme. Let's just do a rhyme for fun. We'll not do the refrain. Just switch it up. And, like, it doesn't make that much of a difference, but it's a little different.
It's just a little different.
I don't know.
And, like, also, who cares that it makes showers? Isn't rain, like, rain just is showers. It doesn't really make showers.
Exactly. I don't know.
Unless he's crediting rain with the invention of the shower.
Yeah, like, someone was like, damn, it would be great if we localized this.
Yeah.
No, it is funny. That line, for some reason, I don't know, because the rain, because like, what are good things that come from rain? Like flowers. Showers? Like
showers.
I guess. Like hydration, maybe. The water cycle.
Yeah.
Who cares that it cycles water on the planet?
Exactly.
Because you broke my heart.
Who cares that it washes the piss off the streets?
Yeah, washes the piss off the streets. Exactly. Who cares that it makes things smell kind of nice?
Yeah, who cares that it's got that nice concrete on wet smell? Who
cares that it kills worms? since you broke my heart.
Yeah, fuck those worms.
Yeah, fuck worms.
Yeah, and who loves the sun? Who cares that it's bright? Shining. It's back on the positive stuff. Who cares what it does since you broke my heart?
But it does seem a little what's the word I'm looking for? I was gonna say inane, but I feel like that's not quite right. It's like it's almost trifling because it's like all these things it's mentioning. It's just like natural phenomena. But I guess you can't find joy in these little things, and maybe that's a bit because Lou Reed's a big like poetry guy.
Yeah,
and part of that is sometimes like, oh, what if we find the beauty in small things?
Right, and there is like that. It's like, hey, get out, the sunshine. It's time to get out there, enjoy the day. It's like, who cares?
Yeah, and he's just like, I can't find this joy in these small things because they're in this sad state.
Yeah, because my heart is broken. And that's really it.
Yeah, I just want to point something else out. There's in the Genius annotations for the first line of the second verse, the annotation is, the VU are often cited as the epitome of anti-flower power. What are you doing, Lou? And I thought that was funny.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. It's like, it's fine, random guy on Genius.
Random Genius guy. Also love that anybody thought they needed to annotate this fucking song.
Yeah. Surprisingly happy sounding melody. We're not talking about the melody, we're talking about pa 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 pa.
We're talking about pa 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 pa.
That's the words though. They say sun sun later.
They do, but like that's
sun. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the lyrics, man. Who loves the sun? Not sad people. Who loves the instrumentation? Your boy. Yeah, boy. Really jangly intro.
Yeah, you get that kind of jangly pop thing going on. Pretty clean guitar. It's a far cry overall from, we already mentioned it's very different from later stuff, but comparing it. The like noisy things and like musique concrète that you get from probably mostly from John Cale.
Yeah, that's a big John Cale element. Because once you lose him on because he's there for the first album and for White Light, White Heat.
Right.
Then you hit what they call, I guess, the black or the gray album, I think I've heard it called.
The Velvet Underground?
The Velvet Underground. It's like all slow stuff. Which it's a very interesting album. I also like that one. But yeah, you lose all of that musique concrète, all of that fucking like noise rock element.
Yeah.
Get songs about Jesus.
Songs about Jesus. It's called Jesus.
Jesus.
Yeah, so it's a very different feeling, and then we're continuing that here, but it's like fairly poppy, and this is more upbeat. But what is happening? So there's like guitar strumming. Actually, it starts with a really short guitar lick.
Yeah. Here comes the sun.
It almost sounds like an outtake, and then they start strumming.
Yeah.
And the sound here is there's sort of a guitar that like strums a bit, and then it'll like play these like kind of extended arpeggios that'll let this, and then the strings ring out.
Yeah, that kind of like
up and down, and then like kind of strummy sounds for a little bit before it does that again.
Mm-hmm. It really is the guitar that does a lot of the like complex work here, because like the bass groove's pretty simple. The drums are kind of just holding down the line.
I liked the bass. I liked the bass sound on this one. It's kind of got.
It's a good tone. It's almost approaching a stand-up bass. It's very soft and round.
Yeah. And then like pretty simple drums, which I think like they didn't really have a drummer. This was like, I think Doug Ewell again. I think he played a lot of the instruments on this.
Yeah, he did.
And there's like an organ later, I believe.
There's an organ later. If there's an organ, it's him. Yeah, and there is. He does. It's like it is the Doug Ewell project.
Yeah.
And this is him singing too, and it's a very laid back vocal.
Yeah. And he said it would have been better if it had real good Lou vocals on all the tracks.
And he might be right.
Yeah, I wonder what this would have been like if Lou Reed was singing it. Would have been interesting.
Yeah, and maybe in my brain, And it's because my brain is dumb. Because they're both the first tracks, and they both kind of have the word "sun" in them. I think a Sunday morning,
Sure.
which also has like a kind of soft vocal approach,
Yeah.
but still that cooked Lou Reed to it.
By my side, watch out. Yeah.
Son, who loves the sun? No, it's more Bob Dylan now.
A little more Bob Dylan. Yeah, I think it'd be a little Bob Dylan anyway.
Yeah, aren't they all?
Oh, yeah, it will be even more so soon.
It certainly will-ish, kind of. But here it's Doug Yule, and it's when I think, because I first heard this album, I was still very new to the Velvet Underground. Like we already talked about, I was like, oh, it's Lou Reed.
Yeah, and I didn't even register that it wasn't him until...
So like, it's fine. He's like
Wow.
a stand-in, and he does a good enough job.
Yeah, of being like Poppy Lou Reed.
Yeah.
Less of the like Lou Reed, if that
Yeah.
makes sense, which I think it does. But that's kind of the setup. We do that for the verse, and then once we get into the chorus, it brings in the backup vocals.
Yeah, worth
Lots of
noting,
harmonies.
just because it's everywhere, I think
Oh,
it's this
sure.
like cowbell that hits
Oh yeah,
almost at random.
Like a
except
triangle
it's there
or-
often enough, like a
yeah.
triangle or,
like a ding.
ding! Kind of at the end of
Sound.
phrases, it tends to do it.
Yeah, that happens through a lot of the song. I always forget about it.
Yeah, well, because I was listening this week, because usually I'm just listening to the vocals and the guitar, but
Yes.
like, yeah, this week I was like, what the fuck is that random noise? It's percussion, baby.
Ooh.
But yeah, you get backing vocals.
Yes, there's quite a few harmonies on this. Right, there's the backup vocals, and then when they sing "Who Loves the Sun," they do like harmony, and you can really tell right at the end. It's like "Who loves the sun," like that kind of harmony sort of singing. The guitar's kind of playing differently too. It's like jumping up. You can really hear that it's like tighter, smaller strings, kind of.
Yeah, and doing a different arpeggio. This
This is also where you start to get some organ.
in the chorus.
Just a little.
Yeah, just a little. You can hear it. It's kind of like bottom left.
Yeah. Playing like like along with the
Yeah.
chord progression. So like it's there. It's kind of in the back.
It's there.
The bottom, as it were. Yeah,
So we get to verse 2,
we do.
and then there's coughing on the track.
There is some coughing.
What the fuck's going on there?
I don't know.
Are we coughing on the track, guys? Do it again.
Yeah, that's musique concrète.
Yeah, they're bringing it back. John Cale snuck in, laid that down, and left.
There's also some flute sounds.
There's flute sounds on this.
But I think it's an organ.
I would believe organ, because I don't see a flute credit, but I do see an organ credit.
Where do they come in?
This is Adrian Barber on drums for Who Loves the Sun, another guy they had playing drums.
Oh, okay.
I'm just checking that on the credits now. He's known for producing the Allman Brothers' self-titled debut album.
The Allman Brothers?
Yeah, the Allman Brothers.
Oh, that's cool.
The Allman Brothers Band, as it were.
The ABB.
And he recorded the Beatles live at the Star Club in Hamburg, Germany in 1962.
Ooh. Okay.
And he produced on this. So yeah, Adrian Barber is drums on this. And there you have it.
There you go. Yeah, okay. So I was wrong.
You were
It's not
wrong.
Doug Yule. That's cool.
Although
That's
he is credited
Yule.
with percussion, so he may be
Just the triangle.
Yeah, like Doug Yule could be the triangle.
Ding. Ding. Yeah, I think that organ is making fluty sounds. I do think so.
Yeah, I believe that.
Just kind of like filling out that space more. They talk about kind of being a bit of like a Phil Spector thing some of the time.
Yeah, that quote is a little weird because I couldn't tell if it was referring to this album or the previous album.
Yeah, that's true. That is a weird quote.
Yeah.
Or this type of this person's song. Yeah, but okay. Maybe that's not a great quote to work with. I'm going to push that off to the side for now. And then we're going to get back into another chorus. Just another chorus.
But it also makes sense for the time period if they're trying to make like a hit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who's making hits? Phil Spector.
Phil Spector.
And like
Probably
he
in the
almost like
70s still.
Yule almost references the 305 in that, except he says 3.5. So like, there's a lot of like Spectre ideology possibly half going on there, but he's certainly in the mainstream conversation at this point. So it wouldn't be surprising to see Velvet Underground, especially with the pop leanings of Doug Yule, going for that sort of wall of sound approach.
And it's not a ton of that in there. It's just like you get some of that, like, oh, we're filling out the space sort of thing.
Yeah, it's just a commitment to not having like an empty moment on the track.
Yeah. As opposed to, again, Velvet Underground and Nico, where it's like, what if we just did like a kind of a Steam release sound?
Yeah, they're like, here, what about just one random noise? What if we just let the guitar hit the highest notes possible and have nothing else?
Yeah.
What if we mostly just focus on the strange tones of Nico's vocals?
Yeah.
What a clown.
Clown. Cause everybody... No. Getting out of it. Okay, the next bit is a bit weird.
Yes.
The bridge.
Tell me about it.
The bridge slash, I don't know, middle four.
Yeah, kind of just like they needed something to change.
Yeah, they kind of, it's still that like kind of flighty sound we get before, because, you know, you get on the chorus and they have the ba 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 ba.
Yeah.
But this is they say sun twice, but it sounds like sun. So that's for a while. You're getting these like cymbal hits. There's like a finger picked guitar. I almost thought this was a guitar solo at first. But yeah, it just gets a little weird.
Yeah, and that's maybe like in the same way that the bridge on Sweet Jane is kind of the saving grace of what, you know, stamps that as a Velvet Underground song.
Is that like other?
Here's something a little strange. Yeah, it is a bridge on that one. This one is more of a, like you said, like a middle four. It's like very short, very out there. But yeah, maybe that's what makes this Velvet Underground. Maybe that's the thing is
that's
just like,
okay,
we've got a straightforward pop song to this point. And even this isn't outlandish, but like,
no, not in topic, but like it's just a bit weird, right? Like, why are they doing the guitar picking that way? And like why do they do it like that? It's a bit weird, but it's kind of cool.
Yeah, almost like somebody let Sterling Morrison too close to the master recording or something. Like he was able to sneak something like this in here.
Yeah, exactly. And then they went out and they're like, damn, how did that happen?
Yeah, it's like all sabotage on this first track. John Cale snuck in, Sterling Morrison's coming in.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah. So they transitioned back into the chorus after this. Little transition, like little like drum roll back in, and there's just lots of like organ playing in the outro.
Yeah, it's pretty classic outro. Like instruments are louder. Yeah, like the organ is a lot brighter. You can really hear it in the mix now. There's like there's organ and piano, right? Because there's like a sort of harpsichordy sound in element. Or is that just a guitar?
Yeah, I wrote organ or piano because it does seem like maybe both, or like it's an electric piano that they're really banging on, something like that.
Because it is doing a piano style of like the way the chords are being played sounds like a piano style.
Yeah, that's sort of like percussive piano rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So you get that in there. And yeah, it like kind of fades out on that sound. It's really quick. It's under 3 minutes long. So
it's under 3 minutes. Fades out. It's like Doug Yule said, is built to be a hit. It's got all the makings of a hit. Plus or minus, 4 bars from your boy Sterling Morrison and the gang doing a weird bridge segment. But yeah, it's a pretty good start to an album. It's gentle enough to let you in while still active enough to like keep you interested. It's a good track.
Yeah, absolutely.
But as with all good tracks, there has to be a bunch of strange covers.
There does.
And so that's why we're going to get into some covers right after this short break.
Just word from our sponsors.
Yeah, whoever they are. Probably something terrible. I mean, great. Terribly great.
Terribly great. All right, hang on. I got to do the music.
And we're back to talk about the Velvet Underground's Who Loves the Sun covers starting in the distant year 1992 with the Dylans.
2 years ago.
That's the sun. Cast
Yeah, the Dylans. This is why I was saying we're going to have more Bob Dylan.
More Bob Dylan.
Because they seem to... I mean, they're not Bob Dylan-y, really, in their sound.
Certainly not.
But the name is with a Y, so I thought... I don't know if it's
and
actually...
And none of their members were ever named Dylan, either first or last name. So, yeah, I guess it's a reference to the fact that like there was the New Dylans as a kind of cultural touchstone where every fucking guy with a guitar who liked poetry, they're like, hey, he's the new Bob Dylan.
New Dylan.
Yeah, this Bruce, he's the new Bob Dylan.
Bruce character is the newest Bob Dylan. I feel like we were obsessed with that kind of stuff for a while. I even remember hearing like, who are the next Beatles?
Beatles,
yeah. And different groups had that title. At various times.
Oasis was always, I remember, people be like, Oasis is like the Beatles of the 90s, man.
The 90s. I mean, we talked about an Oasis song. Yeah, it was like, this is from a Beatles song.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, there's a lot of elements.
This isn't from a Beatles song. It's from a John Lennon song that, like... so that's fun. But, so similar to that, I guess. Or, like, who's the next version of this thing that we think is really good? I feel like you don't hear that as much anymore.
No,
maybe it's because I don't pay as much attention to pop music, but I suspect it has more to do with just that there's so much more of it. We're like, we don't need another Beatles. We have so many other things.
Right. Yeah, it's maybe something talked about in like record label meetings where they're like, well, who's our next Billie Eilish or whoever the fuck, right?
Yeah, I guess we still do talk like that, but I feel like the time frame for talking about that is much shorter.
It doesn't seem and it doesn't seem like it's part of the popular discussion, at least not from any discussion I'm seeing, and maybe I'm not the most plugged in. But yeah, the idea of the New Dylans, the next Beatles, the next big boy band, the next dated. American Idol, yeah, it's a little dated. And so are these guys because they're no longer a band anymore, but they're from Sheffield, England.
They were only together from 91 to 94, so they weren't terribly long-lived.
That was brief. They found out about me and knew they had to disband.
Yeah, we were born, and they're like, damn.
We were born, and they're like, oh,
someone else has it covered.
One day, these guys are going to tear apart a cover of ours, and it's not going to be good.
Nope.
We got to get out now while the getting's good.
They're called alternative rock.
Yeah, it's kind of like that 90s, like, grunge psych rock.
Yes. Baggy.
Baggy, that's a great word for it.
Neo-psychedelia. I'm just reading the Wikipedia page.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting. Like, it's rocky, but like they sort of lay down a beat. You know, they've got like synthesizers all over the place. It's more of that like regular beat kind of setup.
Yeah, it harkens to a bit of like Tin Machine.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's kind of that 90s rock where we're like figuring out where rock and roll is going to go, and the answer is nobody fucking knows in the 90s.
Knows. Yeah. And there's a lot more synth.
Yeah.
You get like a synthesizer, like they kind of have this main thing right at the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that guitar loop is just like.
Yeah, is that what you? I was trying to figure out what was going on there. I wasn't sure if it was a sequenced, like synthesizer or like a guitar playing kind of fast but looping.
I think it is a guitar, judging off of the tones.
Yeah, it's definitely, I could see that. But it's an interesting sound.
Yeah.
They also get a little Beatlesy. They got some like background ahs.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of where the Dylans of their name comes in, is that they're definitely 60s inspired.
And the neo-psychedelia.
Yeah, this sort of neo-psychedelia, but we're using synths, we're using a little bit of crunchy guitar.
Yeah, it's a lot more like texture-y, right? I guess that's why they get the like alternative branding. But yeah, because the rest of it's like, we go into the verse and it's like a lot of those like let the guitar ring out for a while.
Yeah, and even like a lot of sections that are just like extended bass groove.
Yeah.
So they're also drawing on like drum and bass to an extent.
Yeah. Because it's really just sitting in that for a while.
Yeah, it's just like, and that's why this version is almost 6 minutes long.
True, it's 5:44. It is on the longer side because we just are like, we'll do Since You Broke My Heart, and then back into that like guitar riff thing.
Yeah.
For a while, and then like an organ will play for a bit.
Yeah, they're just kind of like, here's some tones we're really proud of. Check these out. Here's a loop we like.
Yeah, so it's a lot of elements like that are like not that much like the original. It feels like a very different song, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, maybe trying to like hearken to like the weirdness of the Velvet Underground in that neo-psychedelia approach. Not really hitting it, but trying to.
But definitely getting, I mean, some weirdness, and then like some Beatles feelings, you know, especially with their harmonies.
Their harmonies, and even probably just right at them being British, like even just the main dude's vocals.
Yes, just having that. I mean, yeah, they're from what? South Yorkshire?
Yeah.
Sheffield, which is I think more northern, and like the Beatles are from Liverpool. Like, I don't think they're that far apart. I think they're both north. They're like not close, but like they're north.
They're what they say is a stone's throw away from each other.
Yeah, that's what they say.
If a stone's throw would take you 2 hours to drive it.
Yeah, I could throw a rock for that distance.
Yeah, they were like literally like latitude wise exactly the same.
Okay, that makes sense. And then Liverpool's probably further west?
Yes, that's correct. It's a port town.
Port town of Liverpool. What else happens here? I mean, they really do the texture thing. They do the like a lot of like looping type stuff.
Yeah.
And then
most of the song is that noise that we keep doing.
Yeah, it's a lot of the song, except when they like pull it out and then just like do some drums and bass for a while. And then they have that organ. There's a lot of that organ. It kind of gets bigger over the course of the song.
Yeah, they really do grow the space. They get more shit going on in there.
And then they get a bunch of like backup. I'm like way at the end, like after 4 minutes, and then there's like all these like echo vocal tracks and like overdub tracks. Very like Beatlesy, you know, you get some of that like Tomorrow Never Knows type. Well, not Tomorrow Never, yeah. Where they do like the, you know, vocal layers.
Yeah, vocal layers of them just saying like at first they're saying sun, near the end they start saying like gas or something.
They're just saying gas.
Gas.
Yeah, which is odd. So I don't know what to make of the gas thing. I don't know what to make of
the gas thing. If that's like a...
Was there like a...
Because the sun's made of gas or like...
Yeah, it's a ball of gas.
Yeah, it's just general 90s environmentalism. They're like, we got to talk about how, you know, gas isn't good.
Yeah, maybe. So, I mean, it has a lot of sound overall in it. You know, we talked about all the different things. A lot of them happen at the same time, and there's layers of vocals and the guitar and the synth and the organ. And it's very rhythmic.
Mm-hmm.
And it's longer than any of the other versions. So that's this version. That's what's going on.
Yeah, it's a version to kind of sit with and maybe zone out to is the ultimate vibe of it.
And like kind of groove along to, maybe.
Yeah, because when you're listening to it with a notebook in hand, or you know, me, it's my phone, and just been like, okay, what the fuck's happening next? They're like, we're doing this fucking little groove for a bit. I'm like, oh, okay. Checking a minute later, they're like, yeah, maybe we'll change to a different groove. I'm like, guys, come on, we got to do something here. The original song's 2.5 minutes. They're like, yeah. No, we'll get to the song. So it's a bit long, but it's a pretty solid production. They're doing a lot of different things.
Certainly more interesting than like a straightforward cover. It's not a straightforward cover.
Yeah. But you know what is the next version in 2003, Cordalene.
Who loves the sun? Who cares that it makes plants grow? Who cares what it does since you broke my heart?
Cordalene. Yeah, I don't know exactly where this name's from because it sounds like there's a town
called Cordalene, but it's spelled the French way.
Spelled the French way. And in fact, when I tried to write this in Google Docs, it was like, did you mean Cordalene? No.
Yeah, you're like, no. I didn't. We should raise this question: is this maybe pronounced Cordalene or something like?
Ow. Sorry,
Alex, what the fuck are you doing over there?
I hit my knee. Is it like Cordalene?
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah.
Like it's Americanized.
Yeah, maybe.
But they needed to put their name in the title of the song. Who Loves the Songs bracket Cordalene.
Yeah, this is I think one of those. Wait, hang on, let me see. Yeah, it's a Lou Reed tribute album. So like they did
After Hours, a tribute to the music of Lou Reed.
So they only did one song on the album. So like all the artists have their name in in the track.
I see.
Title.
That's weird. I don't see that often on those, but I don't
No.
often listen to those. So they're formed in Philadelphia. I was like so confused for a second because Jim McGuinn plays bass on this.
Okay.
I was like, Jim McGuinn of the Byrds?
Oh.
And no.
No. Although what's interesting is he is the only blue name.
He's the only
in
blue
Wikipedia,
name.
So he has his own page, but he's like a radio host.
Yeah, he's an American radio personality whose other claim to fame is like being on radio and then also being in this shitty band.
In this band. Well,
and the band dissolves in 2007. So tell me.
Well, I mean, according to their Wikipedia page, this cover, which gets referenced specifically, has an alt country style in the vein of Ryan Adams or old 97s.
In that it's rock and roll, but there's a harmonica like 2 times.
You got it, baby.
And let me tell you, I love to hear that harmonica at the start. I was like, oh, okay, this is cool.
It is cool.
You miss it.
Yeah. And then it's kind of like, they do the guitar. I feel like the guitar does more in the original. Like, they does some strumming and then picking in between. This one just does picking, and then there's another guitar strumming, which is fine. Makes the sound. More or less.
Yeah, they're approximating it. They do try, I guess, in favor of their alt countryness. What they do in the intro is a full stop and then a bass walk up into the verse.
Right.
Boom, doom, doom, doom. Loves the sun. And they are trying an electronic country guitar tone.
Yeah.
That's their alt country elements. But other than that, they're doing less with more parts to fill that same space guitar-wise. And then what else is going on? They got a drum kit holding down the rhythm.
Yeah, the only other thing I really noted was the way they did the vocals, which I feel like they have multiple tracks, but they're like quite separate.
Yeah.
From one another. Like you can really hear that there's 2 tracks.
Yeah, you can pick out that it's 2 tracks for the verse there, yeah.
And it's a bit flat or monotone maybe.
Yeah.
It's flat exactly, but
it is like it is like a little detached maybe.
Yeah, maybe that's it. So they get those kind of layers, like they have a few like not exactly right on tracks layered over each other. Yeah, I don't know, you can just really hear them.
Yeah.
And then the harmonica brings it out as well.
Mm-hmm.
But that's kind of that one.
That's kind of that one. There's an organ on the chorus.
There is an organ. Yeah, the chorus kind of switches to an organ, and then like you get like muted strumming.
Yeah. So it feels pretty empty in that chorus too, is I think my other complaint here. So you get this circus organ or like baseball organ.
Yeah. It's a very like gentle organ, right? It's not the like heavier. Not that any of them had like a heavy organ on it, but it's not that.
It's not that. This one just feels a little undercooked.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I don't have much to say about this one. It's like okay.
Yeah, it's pass. I wouldn't be mad hearing it, but I'm not gonna be blown away either.
Yeah.
I certainly wouldn't list my name alongside the title of this song. But on a different note, we got Harmonious Wail in 2008.
Who loves the sun? Who cares that it makes plants grow? Who cares what it does since you broke?
Harmonious Wail.
And that's Wail, not like the large creature, but like a scream.
Yeah, not the large sea mammals.
These guys are one of our favorite racially charged genres, gypsy jazz.
Gypsy jazz. Oh, man. You read their bio? Man.
Yeah.
Does he use the word gypsy a lot?
Oh, boy.
But yeah, so that's them.
There has to be a better name for that genre, right?
There's got to be, right? I don't know what it is. We'll come up with something eventually. But basically, it's like jazz with a lot of like strumming and like picking on the
like
mandolin.
Folk jazz.
Yeah, folk jazz. I think.
Okay, it's also known as jazz manouche or hot club style jazz.
Yeah. Okay, I like hot club style jazz.
I do too, because I'm more jazz manouche is just going to be racist.
Yeah, because I don't know what it means, but it doesn't sound right.
I'll tell you what it's French for: gypsy jazz.
Of course.
Hot club style jazz is what we're working with here, folks.
Called jazz manouche. Anyway. Yeah, so this is a hot club style jazz group. Primarily, so the bio refers to them as a trio, but all the pictures just show two members, which is a husband and wife.
Right.
Sims Delaney Pothoff and Maggie Delaney Pothoff. Pothoff? Potthoff.
Pothoff.
So Sims, did I write that down right?
The Sims, yeah, by EA Games.
Sims, yeah. He's a mandolin virtuoso, apparently. And then Maggie is a vocalist, and she also does percussion, but she like mostly plays a cardboard box, it sounds like.
Okay, that sounds very hot club style.
Yeah, it's hot club style. And then it says like, and a world-class bassist. So I'm like, does their bassist just not want to be,
he doesn't want to be associated with Harmonious
or like
Wail?
what? Or like, I assume they just don't have a regular bassist. I don't know, but the bassist is not in the bio, so that's interesting.
That's very interesting. And yet, there's 4 of them in the music video.
Yeah.
So what?
Well, the music video is also from 2008, so maybe it's changed since then because this is a current bio.
Could be the case.
And also, yeah, I don't know.
So we get what I thought was a kind of ukulele rhythm on this, but it must be like mandolin.
Yeah, I believe that's the mandolin on there.
Yeah.
But there's also an acoustic guitar on this.
Yes.
But yeah. So it's the old jazz manouche sound. As I should probably stop saying that.
It's slightly better because at least English speakers won't know what you're saying.
Right. It's the old jazz, hot club style jazz style. You know, there's a lot of that like strumming into picking.
Mm-hmm.
I'd almost compare some of this. We talked last week about like
Johnny Aloha
Kiki style, Johnny Aloha,
yeah.
Exactly. And you were saying ukulele, so it has a bit of that without the like slide guitar.
Yeah, and it is just like that intro with the mandolin is so like island music, like theme.
Like sway your hips a bit.
Yeah, you can hear like if you threw in ocean waves over that, you'd be like, okay, yeah, we're on the fucking beach.
Yeah, a little bit of that. And yeah, it's just like kind of, it's all soft. She sings very softly. Even though it's hot club
style.
Hot club sandwich.
Hot club sandwich jazz.
And it's kind of, it continues with that sound. Like it's just the strumming for a while and then like a bit of picking along with that.
And real gentle like chimes and things come in, like
chimes, a little bit of that like ding triangle kind of sound. Similar to the original.
Similar to the original there.
Yeah, so they keep it like real soft and then like walking bass line.
Yeah, you get a classic walking bass groove on this on a big stand-up bass.
Mm-hmm.
I think it strikes a pretty good tone overall for the song.
Yeah, I think it works. Like it keeps it like the original is very like has that kind of laid back sound. This is very laid back, like even more so.
Yeah,
and like she's pretty good. Like the mandolin's pretty good. I don't know about virtuoso.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not going to argue with that. I'm sure he's very good, but like this is just one recording, so I don't know. But it's like got some good stuff, you know. He kind of does some noodling around. That might be on the acoustic guitar too. I had some trouble telling them apart.
Yeah, I wasn't too clear which one was doing that noodling, but I did like the noodling.
Yeah, that's cool. And like, there's not a whole lot else to this song. They kind of stay in that style, other than they do the bridge section.
Right, yeah.
All on the mandolin. Or maybe the guitar, but I think it's the mandolin.
I think they're pretty proud of their mandolin, so I'm going to assume it's the mandolin.
He does this like, kind of to, yeah. No singing
Yeah.
there. No song.
Nah,
Just
they're too
that.
scared.
And it's pretty quick. And then they go right back into the loves the sun. But yeah, that's their sound. That's what they're doing. And yeah, they do a fine job of it.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting, like a different way to strike that kind of balance between melancholy and sunny, or bright that the original has.
Yeah. I don't know about Wail.
Yeah, I question Wail.
Harmonious, sure.
Sure.
I'm wondering if there's like a quote, like a famous quote.
Yeah, that
about like music is just a harmonious wail, something, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
I couldn't find
bullshit.
anything.
No,
because if I googled it, I just found them. Yeah,
somebody probably said it to them once, or they were on like a whale spotting trip, and they the harmonious whales.
A whale.
That's these guys, and their music video is also a little weird because they do it in a graveyard.
Yeah, is that okay? So if you read their bio, they say like they have a charity or something, and they donate to because like their son passed away.
Okay. Oh my gosh, she's singing on her like son's tombstone.
I don't know when Henry passed away.
Okay.
Possibly after this, but I saw the music video and didn't look at the date, and I was like, "Damn, is that her kid's tombstone?" And I don't know.
A little fucked. I don't know. It's a little. And listen. If this was a high budget production, I would trust that like the proper means went through to earn the rights to record in this space respectfully and what have you. But given that this is low budget, it's just 4 old people with 1 camera. I'm a little like, I don't know if we should be in here.
Should we be here? Is this right? Yeah. So basically, they went to a graveyard in, I don't know, Philadelphia, where they're from. Are they from Philadelphia?
They are from Philadelphia.
And it's really low quality. It's 2008, so that, it's harder to get your hands on like high quality, inexpensive high quality camera equipment.
Yeah.
Back then, so fair enough. But this is like a 240p video, like maximum resolution. So it's rough. It's like 4:3. I assume they just had a cheap digital camera for filming this. There's a few shots, and they do kind of play around with the shot structure a bit, which I respect. Kind of. It just doesn't like do much. Because I don't know. It just feels like a bunch of random shots to me.
And you know what? It's a cloudy winter day they're shooting on.
Yeah.
Y'all couldn't have waited for a sunny one?
Right. Like a sunny day for the sunny song?
Like, why don't you guys dress all in black, go to a beach? I don't know if Philadelphia has beaches, but go to somewhere like sunny and look bummed out while you sing this. Boom, Who Loves the Sun? Simple concept. You can do the same general shots here, but we're just not in a graveyard in the dead of winter being weird.
Yeah. They definitely show the breezes.
Yeah. That's about all they show. Yeah, they do. They got a kind of like standard shot where they'll take turns being in the front of the band.
Yeah, you kind of get like them all in different levels, like distances from the camera. And then, it just like fades between those with the different people in different positions.
Yeah.
Some of them are close-ups of the band members. There's also like a very Bohemian Rhapsody-esque diamond configuration
we do the
shot.
diamond config.
Maggie leans on the gravestone, which I hope is not her son's.
Oh, yeah, but then do I hope it's a stranger's? Like,
yeah, fair enough. It's not like terrible, but it's definitely like real low budget. Feels very amateur, and like they had some ideas, but they didn't really have like a vision for this. I feel like.
Yeah. They say it was filmed by John Mendelsohn. I don't know who that is, but he maybe could have worked a little longer on the storyboarding.
I don't know if he could use this as like a credit in his like DP portfolio.
Yeah, I didn't see anybody get DP'd in there,
but maybe we watch different music videos.
But a name that looks similar to the Harmonious Wail is the Ivy Walls in 2010.
Who loves the sun? Who cares that it makes plants grow? Who cares what it does
Yes, I wrote down Harmonious Walls when I first.
I think I did too.
Yeah. So what's going on in the Ivy Walls?
The Ivy
they
Walls.
are a new wave / shoegaze / post punk group. So it's time to get spacey.
Yeah, absolutely. They're also known for having a music video that featured Chris Pine in it. So that's their big claim
that
to
was
fame.
in their Wikipedia article.
That was in their Wikipedia.
They were like,
I also just want to point out, because on their Wikipedia page,
and
it
Robert
lists
Baker.
it lists all of their band members, and it's
Yeah.
all like regular names, and then it's like Rodrigo Bea brackets the Count,
The Count, yeah.
and no like links to this guy or anything. There's no, he doesn't have his own like
No.
Wikipedia page, so
Nothing.
he just insisted on having a nickname,
The Count.
the Count. But these guys have an American banana on their cover, and buddy, if this isn't a shoegazy, spaced out cover, I don't know what is.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like so spacey. They really they slow it down and they like do quite like a soundscape.
Yeah, we get like spooky synths in there at the start.
You get that like really filtered kind of breezy feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like whooshing. Everything is like kind of like, it's not like whooshing sounds, but everything kind of has that feel to it.
Everything feels like it's coming in on the breeze and then
Yeah.
like leaving just as easily.
And then kind of get these like eighth note drums going as the vocals do come in.
Yeah.
But it's like soft, yeah. It's like on a hi-hat kind of thing.
Yeah. Everything's very soft. And of course the vocals too, harmonized or multi-tracked and high up and soft.
Mm-hmm.
Who loves the sun?
And then backup vocals, the chorus, you get some of the harmonies. There's another person singing backups.
Yeah. You get some female vocals for the ba ba ba.
Ba ba ba. Just on the ba ba ba, right?
Ba ba ba. Yeah.
And yeah, it's just like it just like stays real spacey and like it's very quiet. Kind of until the second verse. And then once you get to the second verse, it breaks out a little more.
Yeah, into more of like a classic alt rock arrangement.
Yeah. Still very like soft vocals and like very echoey, but the guitar like breaks out a bit. And then like more of that like windy, breezy.
Yeah, you like
synth
get
sound.
a kick drum in there. You get louder guitar. This is where it really comes into like a shoegaze kind of sound.
Yeah, and you get that kind of like wall of sound thing with the textures.
Yeah, all that texture.
They even, maybe it's not till later on, but like they kind of bring in the like guitar noodling.
Yeah, they do get a bit of that noodle
yeah.
in there later.
Little noodly.
So this is like the version of Who Loves the Sun sounds like it's about a very immediate breakup, like immediately after.
Okay.
It's like everything sucks because you broke my heart. This feels like the person never got over it. It's a little icier, a little colder. This person hasn't gone outside in a long time.
In a long time, and they're still very upset about this thing that happened.
Yeah.
Can you blame them? The sun. Does it even matter that it shines?
The sun fucking sucks,
I
man.
hate that sun. Damn.
It's bullshit. Plants? Fuck them.
Fuck 'em, yeah. But that's kind of this one, right? Like it's slow and spacey,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of sounds filling out. It's very textury, in that way, and like that's it.
Yeah, that really is it. If you like big, like echoey notes and like echo, if you like a big echo on everything, basically, this is the one for you.
Yeah.
If not, can I recommend Caballero Reynaldo in 2011?
Who loves the sun? Who can ride me French roll? Who can worry those since you broke my heart? Who loves the wind? Who can direct me breezes? Who can worry?
Reynaldo. Yes, which so I went to the like Spanish Wikipedia page that this has, and I translated it, and it was like Knight Reynaldo. Turns out Caballero means knight.
Yeah, I got it translated as Spanish gentleman or a horseman.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
So knight would be a good and perhaps a more accurate reading of that, depending on the context. Yeah, Caballero Reynaldo, a Spanish artist who's recorded for various Frank Zappa tribute albums.
Yeah.
And has released more than 40 albums, and he's the head of an independent label called Hall of Fame Records. but presumably whatever the Spanish name of that is.
Yeah.
Because I translated the page.
Yeah, whatever that would be in Spanish.
Yes.
And he's from Spain.
He's
so
from
what
Spain?
else? What else is going? Yeah, okay. This one really cooks, man.
Oh, yeah. Minute and a half. We ripped through this. Very driving rhythm. Real simple drums. Fast guitar. And like a little tap, 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 tap at the end of each line.
Yeah, that's fun. The guitar is like picked again, similar to the original but faster. They do really low back vocals. Ba, 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 ba.
Ba, ba, ba. Yeah, it's kind of like quirky, fun, like Westernish music, like Western.
Yeah. I don't know what the connection is necessarily.
Lonesome Cowboy Bill. That's the connection.
Yeah, I guess so. I'm just like, because this guy is Spanish, and we associate some of these sounds with like cowboys, which are in many ways come from like Mexican.
Yeah.
I don't know, cattle herders.
I see what
I guess.
you're saying, Alex.
So
We're
like
racist.
Yeah, I'm racist. I'm just like, so did that music originally come from Spain? Probably to a degree, right? So like I don't know how much is Spanish versus influenced by like American Western.
Yeah, or does this guy as a Spanish
Western.
man, when he picks up Western music, he picks it up down south through via Mexico, because he can more easily understand Spanish media from Mexico than English media from.
I don't know.
I don't fucking know, because this isn't English, so I don't fucking know.
True, and he sings in English. Sometimes very like, I mean, it's pretty strong accent.
Yeah, pretty strong accent on there. Who Loved the Sun? He's doing. I like that he does talk singing on the second verse.
Yes, that's fun. It's just like the spoken word bit.
Yeah,
some of it. So that's cool.
Who loves the rain?
Who loves the rain? Who cares that it makes flowers? Who cares that it makes showers? It's more fun. It's fun.
It's really just a fun version, really simple.
Yeah.
And ends on the bridge section or the middle four section there.
And they whistle it.
Yeah.
They whistle the tune of the bridge section. It's fun.
They really do such a sharp cut too. He doesn't even get to finish saying "Who loves the sun" on the chorus.
Yeah, and
then they drop everything, like they're just dropping to an entirely different track, and then it's the whistle.
I mean, the transition is always a little abrupt, but this is like very, very quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a real fun style on this one. I like this one.
Yeah, I enjoy it. It's hard to argue with a minute and a half, right?
Yeah. Well, sometimes. But this one's good.
This one, he's good. Comes in, does his fun thing, gets out. And that's why we got to talk about the Yellow Melodies in 2013.
Yeah.
Who loves the sun? Who cares that it makes plants grow? Who cares what it does since you broke my heart?
An indie pop band from Murcia.
Yeah, also Spanish.
Yeah.
They apparently call their style Sunshine Pop, and they also have an album called Sunshine Pop.
Yeah, I found that quote on Google, but then when I went to the website, I couldn't find the quote.
Okay.
So I don't know if they...
I had that issue as well. So they definitely have an album called Sunshine Pop.
Sunshine Pop. And this version, it's...
Oh my
it's
gosh.
Oh my gosh.
I just realized Spanish pronunciation, Murcia.
Murcia, it's a T-H sound.
Apparently.
Shit.
I mean, there's different pronunciations. But I mean, there's a few like Spanish ones, because not everyone, I think, in Spain does the thing.
Okay. I bet Luis Guzman would say it that way.
Guzman?
Guzman, yeah. I did it the Italian way, because anytime I say a CI, I'm like,
yeah,
let's do a little cha on this.
Do a little
I don't get cilantro anymore. I get cilantro.
It's like cilantro, bro.
It's down a little cilantro, my bro.
Hey. The Yellow Melodies.
The Yellow Melodies, 4 of them. Everything
Yes.
comes in at once, baby. Boom. All the elements, we're right into the song. Vocals, bass, drums, guitar.
Yeah, it's quick. This one's very loud.
Yes.
I thought it kind of, I don't know. It's just everything's very forward.
Yeah, mixed loud and up front.
Guitar, plays a guitar picking in the chorus.
It's like a
and kind of
newfangled jangle. Like,
yeah, it's very similar. Like their cover is like pretty straightforward.
Yes.
There's just a bit. I guess the other thing they do is in the chorus they do like a different drum rhythm.
Yeah, they almost tried to do like the punk rock speed up.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they
it's got to be a better name for that.
drums.
I'm always like, what's the name for this? But yeah, you're right.
That's the best I got right now, man. The punk rock speed
Works
up.
for me.
Hot club style chorus.
Club style, yeah, drums. And then for the outro, they like add a bunch of these like backbeat guitar stings.
Yeah.
Bam, bam, very like it's like jangle, but like you play it harsh, so it's just
Right.
like, kind of a lot of frequencies happening. So yeah, I think this one's fine. It's not the most interesting. It's kind of like an easy like pop rock cover, and it is sunshiny enough. But it's not the most interesting cover.
Yeah, it's not blowing me away. It's pretty basic, pretty simple. But can we go simpler? Let's ask Zia V in 2014.
Who loves the sun? Who cares that it makes plants grow? Who cares what it does since you broke my heart? Who loves...
From Malaysia.
Malaysia, as the British call it.
Oh, do they?
They don't do the sh.
Oh.
So I don't know which one's right.
I'm just going to say Borneo. She was born in Borneo.
Born. I think that's the only incorrect answer here.
She was born in Borneo.
I guess.
But the Malaysian part of Borneo, because apparently there's 3 different states that control Borneo.
Okay.
Yes, Avi.
Ziavi.
Avi. So I've never heard of her before, but apparently she has a fair amount of like international stuff. She was also signed by Emmett Malloy. The Malloy. I feel like we talked about the Malloy brothers. Like they did a bunch of music videos, and I can't remember what we talked about them for.
Emmett Malloy. He certainly has a face.
Yeah. So I was like looking up. I don't know.
Credits. Let's see here. Okay. No, he did a Blink-182 video, but not one we've talked about.
I know. I feel like I couldn't find a video that they had talked about, but I know I looked them up recently because they directed the like White Stripes under the Great Northern Lights.
I've seen that under the Great White Northern Lights, which you recently saw the Great White Northern Lights.
Yeah, but I watched that movie like a decade ago.
Right.
And I remember seeing that, he directed that, and then took note of it, but I don't remember why I was looking him up.
Yeah, I might not have been. I don't actually recall the name.
Okay, maybe it was for something.
It could be for something unrelated, Alex. He does a lot of Black Eyed Peas. We've never talked about the Black Eyed Peas.
Yeah, I'm a big pea head.
We actually, I think, did talk about their cover of Rolling Stones' Gimme Shelter.
They've covered Gimme Shelter, huh? It's hard to remember these things happening.
Along with it was a Hall of Fame cover, so it was like them and Tom Morello or some shit. It might not have been that one, but I think we might have talked about a cover they did. Yeah, I can't see anything from Emmett Malloy that I would recognize. Great way to kill time. Malaysian singer-songwriter, guitarist, ukulele player, Ziavi. Just kind of going through any pronunciations that it might be.
I mean, based on what little I know of Arabic, because her name is written in some version of Arabic underneath.
Okay.
Ziavi. I don't recognize that character because I think it might be Malaysian. But anyway.
There you go, Ziavi. Look at that. So let's strip it down. We got
she has songs in TV shows and ads and stuff. That's why. So,
good.
And apparently in things I've seen, but I wouldn't recognize her versions necessarily.
Interesting.
Yeah.
She's got this version of this song.
She does.
It sounds like it could be in a TV show. I believe that.
I believe that, absolutely. It's mostly a solo acoustic version.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. kind of the finger picking. It's not really. It's reminiscent of the original. It's not really like the original.
No, she's really leaning into like the pensiveness and just kind of a general guitar arpeggio that maybe overlaps occasionally with the original.
Yeah. But it's like intervals kind of thing. Like,
yeah,
you hold the chord and you pick use your thumb to pick the low strings and your other fingers to pick the high strings and kind of do that back and forth sound. That's kind of what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, and you kind of emphasize like two of the notes in that.
Yeah. And then just kind of go back and forth. So it's that kind of sound. I'm like, what? She sings. Her voice sounds nice. It's a very soft voice.
Yeah.
And then she does all the backups as well. And then the chorus, there's a few more vocal tracks.
We do get a bass. It might just be that bass note she's playing on the guitar. There is like a lower end. It's so very quiet. So it might just be that she's hitting that lower note on the guitar.
I think so. But it's like, it's that kind of really simple.
Yeah, like, and the way it's mixed, it's almost a cappella at times. Like, it's mostly just her vocals.
There's not much guitar.
But yeah, she's got solid vocals. She does a little rundown at the end, I think, vocally. Who loves the sun? Yeah, right before the end, like 2:26 there. Yeah, it's fine. It's kind of forgettable.
Yeah, it's that kind of, I don't know, like, I've heard, I have trouble, like, having any reaction to this at all, kind of, just because it's so simple, and I mean, I often don't go for the, like, just acoustic and vocal thing, and what keeps happening in the last, I'm going to say year, is we'll do a cover that at the beginning is just, like, guitar and vocal, and I'm like, whatever, and then, like, halfway through it'll change. And suddenly I have to acknowledge that and say, okay, this part does a little more, and I like it for this reason.
You're like, now that we're playing something against the acoustic, like that it was used to shift our listening state, there's something interesting. But when you're given just that, it's like, okay.
This really doesn't have that. And it's fun enough version, but I feel like it strips it down so much that it sounds like fine, but I don't know. There's just not much interesting.
It's just not very interesting.
Yeah.
But hey, she's got a good voice. I'll give her that. And we're going to give y'all our final verdicts, of which there are 3 categories today: the worst version, the best version, and the sunniest version.
Sunniest version.
Whatever that means to you, Alex. What is the worst version of this?
What is the worst version of this? I thought a few of them had some issues, but I just really didn't like Ziavi.
That's fair.
It there's just nothing going on, nothing to bite into,
Yeah, it's very tasteless. It's not as in like she's doing horrible things. There's just no flavor to it. It's just kind of like
it's tasteful almost, but
it could be tasteful
in that it's like it would fit nicely in a lounge.
Yeah,
and wouldn't be noticed.
But yeah, it's
out in any way.
quite forgettable.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it to Cordalene. I just feel like that one gave me it set me up a little before dropping me down
with the harmonica.
Ziavi. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, oh, we're gonna have some fun here, and they're like, no, we're not. It's just straightforward, guy. Do you want to hear the shitty organ? I'm like, no, thank you. They're like, here it comes.
Here it comes. It's coming in. You ready?
Coming in hot, buddy. Yeah, for the whole chorus. Okay, great. Yeah, I'm gonna give it to Cordalene. Wasn't a fan of those ones. Alex, who's the best version though?
The best version. Jeez, what was the best version? There were some interesting ones on there. Honestly, I mean, a couple of them were decent. I think the one I had the most fun with was Caballero Reynaldo.
Yeah. I
think I got to give it to him because like it was just more fun than the other ones. I did kind of like the Dylans and like Harmonious Wail. I do kind of like that hot club jazz sound, you know,
kind of
from time to time. But it was just not quite enough. As virtuosic as the what's it called, mandolin was.
Oh yeah, the way it was playing rhythm.
Yeah,
sometimes doing little licks.
Just like making this a little cowboy.
Yeah.
Just did something.
Just a bit. Yeah. Caballero Reynaldo, like you said, most fun, and maybe that is like the most like tongue-in-cheek version of this song, which like for a Velvet Underground song is maybe the best approach.
Yeah,
is
it
to
makes sense, right?
be a little sarcastic, be a little bit making fun of yourself. And it plays well with the song and the poppy elements of it, and kind of laughing at those. And being weird, like cutting everything abruptly and perhaps at like a split second too soon to hit a whistle ending that then takes us out. Very strange and fun. Yeah, Caballero Reynaldo for sure. Alex, what's the sunniest version though?
What's the sunniest version of this? Well, I'm tempted to say Harmonious Wail because they're like almost tiki style.
Yeah, but then you got that music video in a cold graveyard.
In a cold graveyard. About as cold as it gets. I'm gonna give it to the Ivy Walls for being the most like a giant burning ball of gas in space.
Sunny.
There's a lot of spaciness in that one, and that's the only one that brought that into it.
So spacey, you could call it Kevin.
I almost made a Kevin Spacey joke back in there, but I didn't. So thanks for picking up the slack on that.
No worries. It took me a whole episode to get there. I'm like, how do we get to that fucking Spacey joke?
Spacey joke. Call me Kevin, because this is Spacey.
Because this is Spacey. We slam dunk, home run.
Home run. Grand slam.
Grand
dunk.
slam. Moon's over my hammy. We fucking got there, buddy. Ivy Walls has like a very cold... I get what you're going like Spacey, but like it is very cold.
I know, it's cold. Because space is cold.
Because space is cold. So you are right.
The sun's hot, but yeah.
And I am thinking a bit Harmonious Wail, but the Dylans, because to me, sun is summer and summer is the 90s, even though it's only a brief period of my life was in there. I'm giving it to the Dylans. They got that layout. And it's so long, you could lay out in the sun for that long period of time.
Oh, yeah.
5 minutes and 45 seconds.
Absolutely. You probably wouldn't even burn.
That's my take. And of course, it reminds me of all of like the like really like David Bowie trying to find himself era of music that the 90s
like in the 90s, yeah. And that's a nice thing to be reminded of. It does.
That's a nice thing to be reminded of.
Have that sound. Like I'm thinking like it's a little Black Tie White Noise.
Yeah.
Even
there's a bit of Earthling in there.
A little, and like Buddha of Suburbia.
Buddha of
like
Suburbia a bit.
Era. Yeah. Yeah, it's got that sound to it. It really does.
It really does. And it's not the strongest sound, but it is a sound, baby. And today it's the sound of the sun. That does it.
Yeah, baby.
For our final verdicts, if you got a different opinion, similar opinion, want to talk to us about a version we didn't talk about, of which there are a few, hit us up on the app formerly known as Twitter. #CoverMePod, @SnakyMe, @SomeAlexWiseGuy. Send us your comments, questions, concerns, suggestions for future episodes. You can also email those to us at covermepod@gmail.com. Talk to us there. Be sure to rate and review us. We're on all the apps. We're on every single one of them. Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music when we're not getting our episodes banned.
YouTube Music.
Because they're quick with it. They're just like, no.
Like for copyright stuff or like...
Yeah, so if they pick up on every copyright, they will, and it's like automated, and usually we just get banned in Russia, but weirdly enough, Blister in the Sun came out, and it was banned in... where was it banned? It was banned everywhere, but because not of the original version, but of the Nouvelle Vogue cover.
Really?
Yeah.
Weird.
Very strange. So yeah, that's copyright for you. So you can kind of hear us on YouTube Music, but you're better off going to like Amazon Podcasts, Spotify, Pocket Cast, Podgram, all these fucking random brands of podcasting apps. You find us there. YouTube Music has a last resort, folks. Yeah. Which I don't need to tell you that. We got mostly
He's a real
no views.
podcast app.
He's a real podcast app, though. Let's be serious. What you can do, tell your friends, family, neighbors, loved ones about us, what you can really do to get the word out there. Summer's here. Sun's out. It's a classic gag. You just put the sunscreen in certain spots so that you got a little picture there. You know what I'm saying here. Put Cover Me Podcast on your chest.
Yeah,
you can choose whether it's
our artwork.
On
your chest.
Recreate the whole logo.
The whole logo.
And you can do that. You can decide which is the burnt section and which is the unburnt section.
Yeah.
It will be more difficult to do. Actually, if you're doing like our faces and everything, it's kind of 50-50. It's going to be hard. But if you're just doing the name, Like, it'll be more difficult to protect more of your body, but it'll be healthier for you in the long run.
Yeah, just you pick which part is the burn and which part is not.
Is the not burn. That's up to you, folks, but that's how you can get the word out there. And that'll stick around for a while, especially if you really burn it. Like, that'll stick around for a while, folks.
Yeah. We want an actual blister in the sun.
Yeah, we want a blister in the sun for us, folks. This is the least you could do for us. But that does it for today's episode of Cover Me. And as we always say on Cover Me, who loves Cover Me? Who cares that it's a podcast?